So if you've heard the meme, it's squats and oats, and I can't think of any better breakfast that handles that. The problem is, I can't eat mushy oatmeal every damn day. So I kind of learned how to work with this. It's a cup of steel-cut oats. Before we get started, wash your damn hands. Tactical Soap is one of those brands that took a chance on the manosphere. While I get a kick out of that pheromone claim, it kind of reminds me of my speech where I poke fun at knuckle push-ups in the shower and wet-napping your way to masculinity. But you know what? It does the job, and I don't have to watch a commercial from these guys that tell me I'm trash. Plus, not smelling like lavender hasn't exactly hurt my sex life, so link for it's in the description. For the recipe, you want to use a hot pan and a high smoke point fat. In this case, I'm using pork fat that I had left over from a different recipe. You're going to toast the oats in there, which is going to burn off a lot of the starches that give it that gummy texture in oatmeal, as well as add a really nice flavor and scent to it. Equality. Women do not admire their equal. And that's the problem with modern relationships in a nutshell. There's a reason I'll always rag on the ideals of the traditional conservative or the tradcon. It's because they live in a Norman Rockwell painting, while the rest of men suffer in the real world. Two corporate professionals get in a relationship, equals, right? Both of them earn the same money. Maybe she earns a little more, but that's no big deal. It's our money, right? You both work and you both put food on the table, so you're both equals, right? A bonding of equals over a lifetime. 50% of your white picket fence, 50% access to your children. Sounds great on paper, but this isn't what happens. During a divorce or a separation, guys find this out the hard way. And your friends are almost always going to take her side over yours. She could have screwed around on you for years, and they will still be on her side. And why wouldn't they? She was the one that was giving them Christmas cards to throw out after you saw them displayed in the house. But blood is thicker than water, though, right? Her parents obviously love her more, but your parents have your back, right? You would be surprised how many men I've spoken with whose parents tell them to suck it up and try to win back a girl who is clearly in love with someone else, even if she is still in love with your paycheck. And this is where the traditional conservative is caught in that illusion. Bringing home the bacon is not how a man gets admiration from his woman anymore. I am going to admire these oats. Once they reach that nice, dark brown, almost char, you're going to add 2 parts water to the 1 part of oats. I guess you could ask her to be a stay-at-home mom, but why would you? Most women don't want to, and no one can tell them otherwise. And maybe they're right, but that's really beside the point. Back to the important part of this. I love having green onions. You can also use cilantro. Just give them a nice, thin chop, and you're going to add them at the end. So even if your wife does want to be a stay-at-home mom, housewives aren't exactly beating clothes against rocks anymore. They finger their phones while their kids spend 8 hours at school, 8 hours of sleep, and 8 hours where you need to pull your fair share at home raising the kids. And don't listen when you have a bunch of girls telling you about how they're different and they do things a lot better. They may be telling the truth, but you'd be surprised how often women lie to look good in front of their friends. So you can use soy sauce here. You just need like a tablespoon or 2 to add the savoriness. Another thing you can use is Maggi, which I actually kind of like better. It's got a more earthy taste to it. The point to all this is that she's bored, or she soon will be. And what do bored women do? Something exciting, or someone. And when you finally start to fight for your own dignity, well, the nation decided early on that she sacrificed her career as a successful supermodel lawyer in order to occasionally fold the laundry for you. You work all day, so clearly you have no idea how to raise a family. She's going to have to handle it. She can't do it alone, though, so could you continue to pay for her to finger her phone while she gets around to folding the laundry? Thanks. Now, take a step back. This isn't some woe is me, sour grapes story for a Fight Club-esque testicular cancer meeting so we can sleep again. It's that your ability to provide is no longer what is valuable in a modern relationship. Equals are disposable, graders are invaluable. So do you know what the bottleneck is for modern relationships? Attractive men with status. And I'm not saying status as in how good your job is. I mean status as in other women will take him off your hands when you're done with them. There is always a laundry list of leadership qualities that middle-aged soccer moms love to rattle off when you bring this up, but all roads lead to Rome. All those qualities serve this one master. Life in the West is good. It's too good. We are never going to starve in the street, and without serious effort on your side, it's nearly impossible to kill yourself from your own incompetence. So without that drive for survival, what's next? Worrying about tomorrow, of course. Then again, our social safety net is unsustainable and has been for nearly a century. For the last 90 years, we've known that we're this close to collapse. And when we do, those men who can fix a fence are going to be our new saviors. The meek shall inherit the earth. The question is, what generation of meek? Usually the generation that can't get women to love them for who they truly are. Alright, so what's next then? Belongingness. People are social animals, put into an isolating world. Most men have no idea how to be socially charming. Most women don't either, but they don't have to be. Not until the percentage of men who would sleep with them drops to below 80%. And this is why that trope of crazy middle-aged women is a thing. They were always crazy, but when you wanted to sleep with them, you ignored it. So she never got to learn. Tell me again how bad it is that people don't sugarcoat your flaws? So if you, a man, are able to survive without killing yourself, hold conversations with people and not give the save me eyes, look good enough that people want to like you, your life changes. Something about people, it hungers for belongingness. It sees you as their Kisby ring, their lifeline. You can be that beacon of aspiration, and somewhere, deep down in a girl's lizard brain, a thought. It learns to stand upright, it begins to walk, and then run. Women start to look up to you. Women want to look up to you. Not that girl, but more girls. And the more that women want to like you, the more women want to like you. Is your goal to keep a girl around long enough to raise a family? Then you best stop wasting your time on your 80-hour, high-paid work week, because when the divorce zombies come over that hill, you're just helping her fear of missing out by stocking her up on her Chad fund. Guys often refer to hypergamy as something that chews men up and spits them out. In reality, hypergamy is monogamy. She is fiercely loyal to the best man in her life. And when hubby is no longer the best man in her life, she is fiercely loyal to the new guy. The king is dead, long live the king. But the other guy doesn't even have a job, but that's okay. She has a great one. The other guy doesn't have to be good with kids. Between school, TV, and sleep, she only has to be on for a few hours with them, and you're literally fighting to be the babysitter once she leaves you. What does the other guy have that you don't? He has a six-pack. He's charming. And damn it if people don't like him. Speaking of like, this is how you can tell it's done. As you pull the oats away, you can see the bottom of the pan. You can cook it for a little bit longer, but at this point you're mostly done and we'll get to the plating. As for the other guy, you could have been the other guy. But you were too busy pulling in that overtime shift so you could afford new hardware floors. I mean, the old ones were dinged up when you were watching the kids all weekend while the old lady got her hair did, but I'll end on this point. When I talk about congruence, this is the ugly truth of it. Are you acting in a way that gets you closer to your goal? Or are you acting in a way that encourages your girl to take advantage of you? Now, I want you to think real hard about this one, because I've seen men become very angry at the idea of being the absent, bread-winning babysitter, and how it's not the best way to be a happily married man. I'm just happy on these oats. Sprinkle a protein source on top, some green onions, and you're done. At this point, I want to give a shout out to all the guys who support me on Patreon. Without you, none of this would be possible. In our locker room, I give them exclusive content and sneak peeks at all the new things. Also, check out the podcast where we talk sexual strategy every week. Link is in the description. So for those of you that don't know, what I do is relationships. Men don't have anybody who's honest with them, and they don't have a lot of other men looking out for them. I've been in the trenches for years with tens of thousands of men who have been swapping notes on how to thrive in a modern relationship, and have the experience of all of them at my fingertips, which I pass on to other men. So take care.